best of threes. Let's see if these guys can deliver the goods here to kick things off. We are on Blackburn, and he's in the red. This is Raza.
That was a lit introduction, Zeph. Made me pog. You know who else makes me pog? Down here on the bottom right-hand side in the blue, the Zerg player. Multiple-time champion of the region. It's RiSky.
Okay. I always love it when match of the night ends up being a little bit spicy.
Oh, yeah. Couple of proxy barracks, just cheese them on out. Why not? RiSky's a very defensive player, likes his hatch first. His first Overlord's going straight across the map, so that will give him warning of what's going on, because it's kind of quite a short distance to get over there with the Overlord. And that will give him a little bit of warning, but of course he'll have already committed to a 16 hatch, 18 gas, 17 pool. And 1 minute 15 spawning pool timing. Not bad, not fantastic either. But every second matters. And for Raza, of course, 2 barracks into gas. It's not a 3 barracks. It looks to do damage, transition into a factory behind it, and then command center a little bit later. So it's going to be a pretty quick work into that. RiSky's about to get vision of this, and he knows exactly what's happening.
The bridge of the SCV, and so he's gonna just be see it bouncing his leg till he gets the spawning pool finish. It's always a little bit awkward early on when you've got to kind of first come out and dance around with the drones, hopefully not losing too many, but as it is a little bit of a walk for the Marines to get over here, he's so far only just hoping to stop this bunker from getting up.
All right, well, looks like 1 SCV. Oh, it's getting repaired. No going down yet. Oh, but a good surround on the Marines, but 4 drones. Oh, this is so good for Raza. He keeps both SCVs alive and kills 6 drones. Oh, this is absolutely not just done the damage it needs, but more. This might be a killing blow, and it's a 2 racks. It's not meant to be a killing blow. It's meant to get a few drone kills, make the Zerg uncomfortable. This is a straight-up disaster for RiSky. The bunker's up. There's no spine. He's losing even more workers. And you can see the frustration on his face there as he just kind of goes, oh, man, not like this. Gets caught out, doesn't scout it early enough, and not quick enough with the micro. Needed to be a little more decisive with that drone surround, and needed to split a drone or 2 off to hit the repairing SCV, I think. But Raza evading the big surrounds. The Zerglings do come out, but some nice popping in and out micro. The Marines killing quite a lot of these units. Queens and the Zerglings finally clear it up. He says, be gone, foul Terran. But he's even going to get the cell on the bunker, and yeah, that's
wow.
10 workers dead, 2 SCVs going down as well. Oof.
It's always a rough defense when that happens, but I mean, I guess he did what he could have in that scenario. Losing those workers, not ideal, but man, all right. He does gain some traction there in the early stages. RiSky looks pretty unhappy with how that went, but he does, yeah, okay. Decide that is the end. He is not going to continue, and Raza is going to grab himself a nice pre-4-minute win there. Look at that grin.
The grin of a man who had to use superior strategy, planning, foresight, and a cheeky 2 racks to get that first game. Nice grin there. You know, it's always something that kind of gets mixed in there. A lot of Zergs like to hatch first every single game. Never mix in the pool first, never do the drone scout, right? And because of that, that's why this exists, is the Zergs are saying, I can defend it well enough, right? Because I'm good enough, I will scout with my second Overlord, I'll get enough warning, I'll pull the drones, stop the bunker going up, maybe kill an SCV, surround a few Marines. If I lose 3, 4, 5 drones, but I kill the first 2 or 3 Marines, stop the bunkers, that's cool, because then my Queens are out, my Zerglings are there, I can go back to mining, kind of evens out, right? 6 drones, like, ooh, 8 drones? Oh, no. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that head in the hands moment for RiSky where he's just like, that just, yep, not playable for me. Let's move on to game 2 instead. So he'll have a little breather here as we are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it'll be map number 2 between RiSky and Raza. Welcome back to the DreamHack Masters StarCraft 2 speedrunning stream, where all the matches pretty much finish as quickly as humanly possible. It's another short one to kick things off tonight between RiSky and Raza in a TVZ here. Raza sitting with a 1-0 lead after a very, very fast game. 2 racks, pretty good against the Zerg, who's not quite ready for it, I guess.
Indeed. Definitely a good way to start things off. And this is every Terran champion throughout StarCraft history usually mixes in at least a few proxy barracks. And Bjorn, famous for it, of course. I'd say Clem is like one of the few guys I don't know if I ever see him proxy barracks against Zerg, but that's because he's so ungodly good versus Zerg that he feels he doesn't need to. But yeah, I mean, you go back to the days of MVP, even before him, Marine King Prime, it was always at least 1 in 2 or 3 games, there was Proxy Barracks Marine saying, hey, Zerg players, go spawning pool first, get some Zerglings in a Queen earlier, or do a drone scout. If you're not going to do that, you are being greedy, and I will take the fight to you. And if you don't execute that micro perfectly, you are in huge trouble. A good way to get the momentum going in this series for Raza. And now, I wouldn't mind him just going for a 3cc. In the top left-hand side, in the red, it's Raza.
And in the bottom right, after a rough start, he's going to be looking to put a point on the board here and keep his chances looking good. This is RiSky.
Going to be light shade, of course, as the map. So nice open areas. Really good attacking map because there's so many angles you can come from. So, you know, just if you can get forward with Widow Mines, Biospread, and then start kind of branching out drops and multiple angles push, very good for the Terran. On the other hand, 1,000 different angles where Ling Bane can come in and swarm you or backstab you or hit your mineral lines. So it's definitely one where the player who gets momentum usually has the advantage. And if the Terran ever has to fall back into that defensive mode where it's like, oh, well, the right call is for the Terran to just kind of sit behind their defenses and defend 4 base or 5 base for a while, that's really hard to do on this map because your bases get so spread out. There's giant wide open areas. So the less mobile Terran player struggles to sit in a defensive stance. If they're out there pressuring the Zerg, it's all fine. The moment they're trying to cover multiple bases from Mutiling Bane, they do end up in trouble.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the flavor of the day is here for both these players. I like the variety in Raza's openers that we've seen so far, and hopefully that's something that's going to continue throughout the series.
That's a very quick second barracks, and it's reactor first. So this is going to be an incredibly quick 2-1-1. I'm expecting him to hit like right on 5 minutes, is what I imagine, but he's actually pulled 2 off gas. Are you 3-raxing, Raza?
Hello?
Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord.
What matchup is this?
3 Rex. It's back. It's back. Oh, this is so cool. I saw Uthermal do this as a solution to a really cheesy Zerg that he was playing in an online cup a few weeks ago. I've seen like Beyond mix this in on Romanticide 6 months ago. Very, very rare games. These are like the 2 games in the last year I can remember someone 3-raxing against Zerg because it does not have the flexibility of the Medivacs. You can get swarmed and surrounded by Ling Bane. You can die to a big old Bane bust because you could have Stim miles out. But on the other hand, you do just get a surprisingly large amount of bio out onto the map very early.
Yeah, one Ling comes in for RiSky and he's going to try and have himself a little bit of a scout. Raza smartly closes the door there and uses the Marine to clear that up. There is no Overlord perched over the natural just yet, and we saw him checking for that just before so he could nab it. And that helps him conceal what's happening here for a little bit longer. And RiSky isn't necessarily that guy that's going to be doing that sort of Bane bust and flooding Lings. Not like, I feel like if you did this against me or Micah, for example, who always inexplicably has 30 Lings right by your base, maybe a little bit riskier. But yeah, he may very well get caught.
Oh, a Baneling Nest does go down quite
pretty
early for
yeah.
RiSky. So, I mean, that's very early, but he's still adding more drones and queens. And the thing is, RiSky really is a defensive player. You mentioned it, he likes to sit back and absorb things. You know, I've often criticized, well, people say criticize, but, you know, because I've said he kind of vanilla Zerg. He's like, you know, I'm going to defend and make drones and then make some more drones and then play Broodlords. but he does it really well. It's like that fancy vanilla you get from like a really fancy ice cream place, and they've got like the little
vanilla
bean in there. Yeah. You know, there's little bits of black in there, so you know it's actually from the vanilla bean. It's not the artificial essence stuff.
Yeah, RiSky's being quite thorough with the scouting here, making sure he sends a ling. Each time it gets taken out, if he's not satisfied, he's sending another one. And he's actually going straight into Spire from here, a lair from here. And this is about the time when all those Marines are going to march out. Now, his vision covers that, right? Yeah, surely.
Yeah. It's a nice overlord that he shuffled forward there to see this. Making a few Banelings and some more Zerglings is RiSky right now. He's got a good 10 worker lead. So he's held off on building this for a long time. Shields is kicking in. Does he have stim as well? He does, right?
Yeah, he does. Okay. Clearing up a little bit of the creep. In he comes. He's not waiting at all. He targets down the Banes, and they're slow, of course. There's not much you can do about that. Only Queens left here, and they're going to get absolutely shredded by these Marines. 2 more Banelings, a third one waddling in, but they're just too slow. Big, there's not enough.
Okay, the Zergling Remax, I mean, no drones will go down. That's the one saving grace for RiSky, because the Lings are popping. Lings are popping. Okay, finally, there we go. They will clean it up, but yeah, definitely, that's an expensive trade. Losing that many Queens and Zerglings and Banelings, I mean, that can't be a good trade. If we take a glance at like the units lost, I'm sure it's in the favor of Raza, and more importantly, it's yeah, I mean, that's, wow, 2-1. Okay, yeah. That's even more so than I thought. That's actually wild. And he's got a 3rd CC finished. He's going up to 5 barracks, double upgrades. I mean, this puts Raza now just in a very good setup for the next stage.
Because, I mean, we look at what RiSky's got. He's got to remake all those Queens, so his creep spread isn't exactly pushing forward too hard now. Just now getting Bane speed as well. I'm thinking about the Evos, but he doesn't have any lair tech happening other than that Bane speed. He's not really moving up that tree, so he's going to be relying on that ground army for quite a bit. And I do like that he's still being very active on the map with these units and keeping the scouting up, but yeah, he's got to recuperate a little bit because this is not quite the position he envisioned himself in, I'm sure.
Definitely gonna have to, really keep an eye out. Oh, that's a bit of a surround, but these are upgraded Marines. The stim and the shields adds a lot, so nice angle. Overall, it does pay off for RiSky, and that's definitely worth it. Using these Zerglings left over from earlier in the game and going up to 8 barracks and tank production is Raza. I think Raza has a very clear game plan finishing this game, Zeph. It's, I'm going to make a lot of stuff and I'm going to throw it at you. Now, keep our eye on the production tab, because when those 3 extra barracks kick in, if they all add reactors and there's no Marauders being added, it's pure damage up. And that's what I'm expecting here. Or he might not even build add-ons. He might just build Marines out of them with no add-ons at all, right? And yeah, reactors. Okay, it's going to be pure Marine. So it's going to be just an insane flood of Marines coming off 3 base. And with this production, your 4th command center, you cannot afford it ever unless you cut Marine production, which Raz is not planning to do. He's just going to try and swarm over RiSky using this early momentum. Yeah,
and he's getting started pretty soon here as those first couple of medevacs have come out onto the field. So now he has the mobility. Yeah, RiSky dips in here. Not too many Marines available to defend, but with the medevacs, looks like he's okay. Bought himself enough time there.
Yeah, medevac SCV, that's not the counter to Zerglings they teach you about, but trust me, when you run in with like a small number of Lings in a mineral line, you're like, yeah, SCVs. There's 2 medevacs healing them, and you're like, none are dying. What? The SCVs beat your Zerglings. But Banelings, of course, going to be a pretty good answer to that. +2 attack stance, no +2 armor gas available there for Raza. Raza building a lot of Marines right now, but I do think the delay on the 3rd base was very good. RiSky's up to 78 workers, and he's going to roll in one more time. Tanker siege, though, with pullback finally RiSky. And I think for RiSky here, definitely respreading this creep is going to be really important. He's got so many hatcheries going down all over the map. I mean, if RiSky can just keep up this production for the next minute or 2, he's going to be in a fantastic position. That being said, another 12 drones. Okay, RiSky, 90 workers. This tells me he has not been overseer scouting the main. I don't think he realizes what the production state is, so he might be assuming Raza is adding a 2nd factory for Widow Mines, adding a 4th command center. None of these things are happening for Raza. Raza is adding Liberators to add even more siege to his push, and he's going to be going hard towards the 4th base of RiSky.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that he hadn't actually seen it with the amount of scouting he's been trying to do. He gets in here at the last second to try and populate that bunker, but there's a lot of RiSky here, and he's absolutely cleaning out that third base. SCVs do get on out of there, and that does stop up his forward momentum here towards these bottom right-hand side bases of RiSky. But he does have that nice position up on top of the ramp. There's no creep, so it makes it a little bit difficult for RiSky to get in there and clean that up.
2-2 almost finished here for Raza. You can tell he doesn't want to push too hard. He just wants to get set up and kind of chip away at the creep. But when that 2-2 kicks in, I think RiSky's job is to kind of just give up ground and don't take a big engagement. Keep backstabbing, give up those two bottom bases if you have to. But you've got such a worker advantage. You're going towards hive tech. There's no progression here for Raza, and RiSky finds a good angle here. The tank focus fire pretty good there from Raza, but any Marines getting cleaned up away from the big fight on the front. This is exactly what RiSky needs to do. Just keep him away from one big direct engagement where those tanks on the high ground are going to ruin you. Yeah,
beautifully done, actually. He causes Raza to pull out of that position entirely, and he leaves his tanks behind while he's trying to clear that up. So he's going to lose at least one of them, but the Marines do swoop in time to ward off the rest of those links. He's going to try and set back up here again now that he's cleared RiSky out of there. I'm sure RiSky will be setting up another counterattack in no time at all, and perhaps may try and cut off those reinforcements once again. But let's see if Raza can get a little deeper. 2-2 is here.
At the moment, Raza is really washing up against RiSky, and RiSky's counterattacks are doing so much. Liberator, obviously Zergens can't fight back against it. Who cares? RiSky's got 85 drones. Liberator does not stop this attack in its tracks. It slowly wears it down, and that's not what Raza needs. Raza needs a kill move, and he needs it soon because Vipers are on the way. The Lurker upgrades will be kicking in shortly, so it's only a matter of time until Lurkers join the field.
Oh, big engagement here as RiSky rolls in with pretty much everything. He's got Queens backing this up as well. Big spread of creep for Raza though, and he is going to be able to continue forward here. There's only, I think, one spare Baneling rolling through there, and he's going to be able to push this creep back even further. And this is RiSky giving up that ground that you were talking about, Pig. He's not able to defend this now, and does have to unfortunately abandon this Evo to its fate as well. He tries to transfuse it, but there's just too much DPS.
Yeah, that was the fight Raza was looking for, and RiSky handed it to him on a platter. He went out there, just got a bit too cocky. Things are going so well for RiSky. He was like, oh cool, I can go out here. It tells me that, yeah, he really is a bit over eager still, even now going out here and fighting because he's losing his bottom base and all the drones. The thing is, you do not need to engage into that army as RiSky. You've still got 4 bases on the right side of the map with 70 drones across them. If he can just get out some more Banelings and survive, he'll be fine. But he's just thrown all of his Banelings away. And now the push is coming even further. Raza has been so desperate for the last 5 minutes of this game that RiSky, he's put himself in a very dire situation. He's trying to make Lurkers, but they're not going to be able to get up. He's let Raza in. And RiSky, he was in such a good position, but Raza, with great Marine spreads against that Ling Bane flank, and now he's pushing in the Liberator to tank the Marines. This push is not going to be stopped.
Yeah, this is a real rough one for RiSky, but Raza bringing the fire here. Just non-stop aggression. He's still rallying across the map. He's got Liberators in here, and RiSky has been desperately trying to get those Lurkers in, but it's too little, too late. That one big engagement, so juicy for Raza, and he's just driving it home at this point, now heading for the other bases towards the top right of the map. And that's a GG for RiSky. Not looking too happy with that performance, but guess who is? Raza. He looks